Greetings my friends and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and today I'm reviewing the absolutely crushing new album Omens from groove metal gods Lamb of God. This is the 9th album from the band and this is an absolute monster of an album. In my opinion, this is probably the most concise and streamlined piece of work that they've done in a number of years, but this is absolutely barbaric. It is such a solid piece of work, it really is. Let's go through that lineup there. We've had a notable change across the years, but we've still got the main body of the band there. We've got Randall Bly on vocals, we've got Mark Morton and Willie Adler on guitars. We've got John Campbell on bass and we've got Art Cruz on drums. A solid collection of musicians who deliver an absolutely solid first-rate performance. This album is without a doubt going to be one of my favourite top 10 albums of the year. It's absolutely cracking. Right from that opening track, Nevermore, we just get Randy's harsh and iconic vocals, his snarling growl. He's such a unique vocalist, but he does a superb performance throughout this album. Even a very brief, clean sung hint on that Nevermore track, that opening track, the only track on the album to feature clean vocals, but Randy does a brilliant and very ambient, atmospheric job of those vocals. And it's a crushing opening track. Right from the word go, you just get these drums, these guitars, these riffs throwing at you. And it's a heavy as hell performance. Following on through a track like Vanishing. Again, this is classic Lamb of God, but it's very well produced. It's very heavy, not overly technical, but we've got a lot of great musicianship throughout. Ditch, a personal favourite of mine. Heavy, groovy, tons of groove in fact. It's got everything you need. You've got melodic elements there. We've got those crushing slabs of riffs and we've got some hammering drum work. Title track Omens is another killer one. We've got a great chorus there as well thrown in for good measure. Plenty of great riffs. Tons of stuff. Gomorrah is basically one solid breakdown. That song is so freaking heavy. That is probably the heaviest track on the album and it absolutely crushes. It's like I say, it's just got these huge tidal waves of riffs just coming pummeling you in there and it's great. It's the kind of abuse that you want to be subjected to. Crushing, repeated savage blows of riffs. What could be better? Ill Designs, Grayscale, again, very good tracks. We get a lot of different elements thrown in there, a lot of different mixes of paces, a lot of great musical work. Just brilliant instrumentals throughout. Denial Mechanism is an interesting number because it is very much a sort of hardcore, crossover, punky vibe track. It's heavy, it's got attitude, it's got snarl, it's got aggression. But it's a real standout because it is so different to the rest of the album. As I say, very much a crossover, thrashy, punk number. A good song. September Song closes the album. It's a much longer track. I think it's near 6 minutes or maybe 6 minutes and change. Can't quite remember off the top of my head. But it's a good track. It closes the album in the way that they have closed their albums on the other albums throughout their catalogue. Wrath comes to mind. We've got that longer, slightly grander closing track there. It's a very good song. We also do get a crushing breakdown thrown in for good measure. Again, fantastic vocal work, fantastic riffs, fantastic drumming, fantastic musicianship. If I was going to recommend some standout tracks, I would say Nevermore, because it is a fantastic bludgeoning opening track. Heavy, fast, intricate, but not overly technical. some great vocal work there as well thrown in. I would also recommend Ditch because it is groovy, it's very catchy, it's aggressive, it's got tons of attitude, tons of power in there. Gomorrah, because it is such a beautiful display of brutality. It's absolutely barbaric. Riff, hammering riff after hammering riff. Fantastic stuff. And Grayscale is another particular favourite of mine. Heavy, and it's distinctly Lamb of God. There's no fooling, there's no kidding. This is Lamb of God. So, if you like heavy, modern death metal, groove metal, or the bands of that new wave of American metal alongside the likes of Chimera or Devil Driver, then this album you're going to love. If you're a Lamb of God fan, if you're a devotee, you've been a fan for years, then this will not disappoint. Omens will not disappoint you. This is a solid piece of work. Clocking in at just over 42 minutes long, I think. It's a very easily digestible album, and it's one of those albums that you just keep having to play. I think I've listened to it almost daily since it came out almost a fortnight ago now. And if you're a fan of any of these pieces of work here, definitely this album, Omens, is a perfect continuation of the self-titled album that we saw last. But also there are distinct elements of album number 7 in there in terms of the grandeur, and certainly in some of the sequences of the riffs, in some of the structuring of those riffs. It does remind me of that. And of course, the early aggression. If you love those early albums, then these guys have still got all the fury. They have not softened over time. So there you have it. What do you think of this album? If you haven't heard Lamb of God, Omens, check it out. It is a nasty but beautiful piece of work. And let me know what you think, because I'm interested to hear what the other fans out there have to say. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe. As always, of course, I'm very, very grateful. Now you take care, my friends. You stay heavy.